led by former Patriots backup Jarrett Stidham. And I'm going to ask you, are you surprised that the Patriots are favored by 4.5 points? Are you surprised they're favorites in this game?
I'm not surprised they're favored because the Broncos have a backup quarterback who's going to have to play for them, and that's just the way the league works. As soon as the starter goes out and a backup goes in, your chances plummet as the team that has to play said backup. So I think in some ways, Tom, this actually is a good game for the Patriots to experience this one against Houston before they go to Denver, because they're going to face a lot of the same types of problems. What are you going to do to make sure the edges are protected? How are you going to coach up Drake May to make sure the ball is out of his hand more quickly? What screens need to go in the garbage, and what screens do you need to unveil against a pass rush that is excellent out in Denver, even if they don't necessarily have the star power on the edges that Houston had? So I think this is a nice game for them to have under their belt and to have survived. And to have survived while experiencing some failures, because they're going to be put in the same positions this time next week.
The ironic thing is, for a team that has been taken lightly so often and around the NFL, this is going to be a week in which people look at the Patriots and say, well, they really should win this game. You're not going to see a sweep. My guess is, when you look at ESPN's analysts saying Denver, 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 Denver. Could, might. Maybe they're, in for a dime, in for a dollar, and they're going to say that they don't believe in the Patriots. But it's ironic to me to see the Patriots are going to be in this position, how hard it will be to stress taking that offense with the same seriousness that they would have taken the Bo Nix offense. I don't doubt that they will be able to, but I think that's interesting. As for Patriots fans, too, I'll say this. Don't expect this nation that has been slow to credit your football team to suddenly do a turnabout. They're going to look at this game and they're going to say, well, there was no Nico Collins and no Trent Brown, and we already saw C.J. Stroud stink last week, and we knew he was going to stink today, and last week it was Justin Herbert, and he didn't have any protection, and now you got Jarrett Stidham. So do not expect the backpats that you normally would get when you advance to this point, Ted.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'll be curious what the kind of the nation thinks after this game, but I'm not expecting that either, Tom. This is kind of an interesting week, though. And, one of the message you hear from Vrabel is just staying consistent, keeping your head down, looking, kind of just what's right in front of you. And this is an important week as well, because obviously it's the game that gets you to the Super Bowl, but it's a short week. There's travel, and you're playing a guy who hasn't played in 2 years. I mean, I looked at Jarrett Stidham hasn't thrown it, he's hardly played in the last 2 years. So it's easy. Human nature kicks in, and it's easy for a team that just went through two of the good teams in the AFC to take your foot off the gas. Keep your foot on that gas pedal, because that's a hard place to play. I know, I've played there. It's not easy. So it's going to be very important for Mike to keep his consistent message this week like he has all season long.
This is the best coach. This is the best coach that they're going to see.
You think so?
They're all good coaches. Ryans, Jim Harbaugh, Mike McDonald on the other side.
Right, but Sean Payton.
I think Sean Payton is, if he's going to make it simple for a backup quarterback who's wildly talented, but really just not all there when the heat's
can't
on.
Put it all together.
Give Van Joseph his flowers too. My old teammate at Colorado.
That's a great staff.
That's a good staff.
Yeah. It's interesting, by the way. We asked the question, who's going to win the AFC Championship game? I'm not surprised. So right now, it was at 100%. Now you're over 90%. So most of you think that the Patriots are going to win. Most of the nation, Vegas, thinks the Patriots are going to win. The line continues to move. Now the Patriots are favored by 5.5 points. We came on, it was 4.5. Now it's 5.5. And who knows by the time we get to next Sunday. But I want to ask you guys about the historical precedent, because I really can't find one. I think back to I think it was 2015, Tom, in Denver. Peyton Manning at that time was the worst quarterback in football. He was the worst quarterback in football. He was unofficially benched during the season. He led the league in interceptions. He throws 2 early touchdown passes to stake the Broncos to a 14-zip lead. The Patriots hold on. They had problems with their snap. You remember the protections. They couldn't get it right. And the Broncos just caused havoc on the offensive line. So Broncos win that game with a bad quarterback, even though it was Peyton Manning. Super Bowl, Nick Foles is your MVP. Still, it's Peyton Manning. He had a history of being an MVP. Nick Foles, he had some success. Jarrett Stidham, I can't think of an example. Can you guys help me out? I can't think of an example of a guy with a profile like Jarrett Stidham who was thrust into a conference championship situation, even at home in a tough place to play like Denver. It seems too easy. It seems like the Patriots should win it.
There was a guy named David Woodley who stepped in 1984 for Dan Marino, but David Woodley played most of the season, and he took the
no, it was earlier. It was before. It was pre-Marino.
Okay, so David Woodley
82,
was the backup
I think.
who took a Dolphins team to the Super Bowl.
How do we feel about Jeff Hostetler? Is that at all similar?
It's a good one. It's a good one.
But Hostetler was better than Stidham.
Kinda. He was better than Stidham. Like Stidham is. I mean, Stidham. Give me an equivalent. Stidham is like Zach Wilson with less experience.
I can't think of one.
Because he has a lot of arm talent.
Yeah.
I texted Brian Hoyer earlier today because Hoyer was in the same quarterback room with him. And there was a time in 2020 before Cam Newton took over as the starter where Phil and I would be down there in Ted 2 at training camp, and that was during COVID. And we would watch those practices, and I said, Stidham's going to probably win this job because he's a better thrower of the football. And they used to say when he was coming out of the combine, you put him in a T-shirt, he's the best thrower out there. But he kind of banged out early, I thought, out of that training camp. And Cam came in and took charge, and he was never able to beat him out.
I guess he went on for a wedding, right? And I guess that put him in the doghouse with Bill. But I thought for sure when Tom moved on to Tampa Bay that Jarrett Stidham was for sure going to be the starting quarterback in 2020. And he got an injury early in training camp. He went on to a wedding, and Bill wanted him to be here, and it just never even got off the ground here. So I couldn't tell you much about in the way of Jarrett Stidham. He just hasn't played a lot of football, he bounced around in college, Baylor, Auburn, fourth-round draft pick. So I can't think of an example. I mean, who do you call?
He had a Josh.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking, like, who else would you put in at a quarterback other than
they signed
Brady? Call Brady. Do it.
Phil Rivers? What do you do? Call Phil?
Yeah. Sell his stake in the Raiders. Yeah,
I've
give him a
already
shot.
banged up, but I'll come on back.
I'd listen. If Jarrett Stidham can go through a game without turning it over 5 times, it could end up being a close game.
He's exactly right.
Yeah.
Just don't throw it to the other team. Watch, Hoyer said, watch if you want to. Go back and find the game that he played for the Raiders a couple of years ago when he just came in place of who I don't know, probably David Carr. Derek, whichever one of the Cowboys, and threw the absolute pus out of the ball.
All right, here's Andrew.
I would hope that's not their thought because I lived it with Nick Foles. And Nick Foles went toe-to-toe with Tom Brady in the most prolific quarterback performance in a Super Bowl we've ever seen. So, no, you can't be thinking ahead. You got a tall task today. You worry about that today, and then you'll move on to Denver. But if you look ahead right now, you're going to overlook what's coming today, and you could run into a buzzsaw. So you got to stay focused. I know from past experience, you guys know from covering the team, it don't matter, right? We all thought, oh, Nick Foles, whatever. He comes out there and he walks away with a Super Bowl ring, and I'm going home sad.
No, it's really interesting because Bo Nix led them in rushing yesterday, the Broncos. Broncos did not run the ball. It's surprising. So he's part of their running game. Not only do they lose the quick processing of Bo Nix, but they lose the running ability of Bo Nix because that's not really Jarrett Stidham's game. Ted, can you think of a situation where your long career, there's a quarterback, you said, that guy cannot beat us. That guy should not be on the field, and you still find yourself struggling against a quarterback who you don't think is that good? Is there anybody who comes to mind? And name names, too. That's all right. The statute of limitations is up. Call them out.
Man, that's a good question. Who? Oh, man.
Jay Fiedler?
You know what? That's a good one. I like Jay. Jay's a nice guy.
What was the question?
Sarge. What's that?
A quarterback who you don't think on paper should not. They should not be competitive, but they still give you a hard time, and you find yourself in the fourth quarter saying, "How is this other team still in the game with this guy as their quarterback?"
Yeah, I mean, there was a time when Vinny got in 40 years old had like a little resurgence. You're like, where's this guy for the Jets? Kind of put it on us a little bit.
This is really funny. When you look at Jarrett Stidham.
That's a good question, though.
With Jarrett Stidham in 2023, at the end of the 2022 season, he started for the Raiders. He went 23 for 34 for 365, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. The next week in the season finale, they lost in overtime. Next week, he went 22 for 36 for 219, touchdown and a pick. In 2023, he played again at the end of the season. For Denver, 20 for 32, 224, touchdown, no picks, 20 for 34, touchdown, 1 pick. He's not going to be, I don't know.
He's not going to be Zach Wilson. You mentioned Zach Wilson.
He's not going to be a guy peeing down his leg. He might have a hard time processing what's out there because it hasn't been.
Bill Perry, I could tell the burrowed, the brows. Like I think
I'm just trying to do the math on that in terms of like what does that mean in terms of completion. It sounds like he's about a 60, a little bit more than that percent
63%
completion guy, and I don't think he's going to kill you down the field. Again, to me, the thing he has to do is protect the football.
He took a ton of sacks.
Because if you're watching this game, if you're Denver sitting there today, you're thinking to yourselves, well, we can get by those tackles. We're going to be able to get to Drake May. He's going to be pretty loose with the football. It's going to be out 2 or 3 times potentially if we do what we think we can do. Jared, all you got to do is not screw this up here, buddy. And let's win this thing 16-10.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Super Bowl.
I got another guy. The Broncos had success. Jake Plummer. They beat the Tom Brady got his first playoff loss to who? Peyton Manning? No, Ben Roethlisberger. It was Jake Plummer. Jake Plummer was the quarterback in Denver. First playoff loss of Tom Brady's career after a 10-game